All right, welcome to this video. So in 2025, we had a lot of success stories with the partners we work with in the remodeling space. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how we helped a kitchen and bathroom remodeler with adding 300K in his first 60 days of working with us. So let's just dive right in. All right, so just to show you that this is actually real and not just something I'm coming up with, I just want to show this video right here.
My name is
of Joe here.
I want to say month one, we did, I want to say 70 or 80,000 in business, I think. Look at the exact numbers, and then I think we did like $220,000 last month in revenue from the campaigns you're running. And
yeah, so 70 to 80K in the first month of the campaign running, and then in the second one it was around 220K. So how did we exactly do this? First, I want to cover the problem that most remodelers I'm speaking with are facing. So kind of like a lot of remodelers are hitting a growth ceiling, and the data shows it. This is actually data that has been pulled from a lot of my meetings that I've had with remodelers over the past couple of years, and it states that 95% of remodelers are relying on word of mouth and referrals. And this is the number one reason that remodelers fail to scale past the $1 million mark. It's not like a system, it's luck. And it's not even $1 million. If you want to break past like 3 or 5, you need to have that system in place. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of remodelers that are stuck at this level despite having 5-star reviews, the capacity to scale, they have the crews in place. And like, quality isn't the bottleneck, the lead generation is, because like no matter how great your service is, no matter how great your staff members are and all of that, if you just don't have enough sales opportunities in front of you, you just can't scale. That's one thing. But the other thing is also, when you are taking bets on hiring new crews, hiring project managers, sales reps, you need to basically have a lot of qualified appointments to like put in front of them, and also be able to close them to get to the next level and keep them busy, because otherwise they'll leave and you'll kind of have to start over again and again. Another thing is inconsistent cash flow makes it impossible to hire confidently or plan for growth. Some months are great, others are dangerously quiet, and that's again the problem with just like relying on referrals. You basically can't predict your revenue, and that makes it extremely hard to hire people because you don't know if next month it's going to turn bad. Also, this ties into unscalable foundations. So relying on referrals means you don't control your pipeline. You're waiting for the phone to ring instead of making it ring. So the real problem is tire kickers. It's not leads, because there's so many companies out there that are promising leads. But you can have as many leads in the world, but if they're shared with like 5-10 other remodelers at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Especially when the leads you are getting don't have the right expectations in terms of the pricing for a remodel, or if they're just kicking tires because they have been sent out to the same 4 or 5 people. So they focus on lead volume, a lot of companies, instead of quality. And this ties into the fact that your incentives aren't really aligned, because they get paid for just sending like a name and a phone number, and therefore they don't really care about the quality because they make money either way. So they send you a list of people who want a luxury kitchen on an IKEA budget. So the hidden cost is you drive out or your sales reps drive out, which means they're using your fuel and their time, which means it's costing you a lot of money. They're also spending 60 to 90 minutes consulting, and they leave empty-handed. It's not just a waste of time, it's a lost opportunity cost, because they could have spent their time on an opportunity that were actually worth it and that they could have sold. And that means most likely your employees would also churn out if they get in front of too many leads that are just unqualified. So again, some data insight from a lot of the calls that I took in 2025 with remodelers was that pricing or budget mismatch. That is like the number one pain point for remodelers. The thing is also like having this mindset shift of leads to qualified appointment, because again, a lead is just a name and a phone number. It's a lottery ticket that requires heavy lifting to chase, qualify, and convert, where instead a qualified appointment is a pre-vetted homeowner who's ready to buy, and your job shifts from chasing to closing. They have realistic budget in terms of what a kitchen remodel is or what a bathroom remodel is, like the price ranges. They also know that they're looking to get started within the next 30 to 60 days, which means when you show up for the appointment, they're actually ready to talk numbers. Decision makers is also present, so you don't get the "I need to speak to my spouse" objections when you're out there at the appointment. So the first pillar to actually getting in front of the higher quality leads and start filling your calendar with those type of appointments is to have high ticket video ads, because the quality of the video dictates the quality of the people that you're targeting. So for instance, like if you're showing like craftsmanship and nice kitchens compared to just like a free quote or a discount, you're going to attract people that are looking for a discount. Sometimes even when you run like a ridiculous offer, you're trying to speak with people that weren't really in the market in the first place. They just wanted to like get this crazy special offer on a kitchen. And, if they couldn't get this offer, they didn't want to buy anyway. So that's why we want to basically create ads that are speaking to the pain points of of homeowners that are in the market right now looking to remodel. And that means, for instance, with a kitchen or bathroom, weeks of months of disruption and their space taken from them is one of the biggest pain points. It's also the quality, the materials. Being done on time is super important for these homeowners. So we want to create content that resonates with these pain points so they feel like you're the go-to authority in the area when getting a remodel done. Also focus on the transformation. Before and after visuals create emotional buy-in and justifies premium pricing. And also like having a tested library of video angles that filter for high intent homeowners. So because we've just spent a lot of money on these ads, I think by this time we have spent over $9 million on ads for remodelers. We know exactly the type of videos that resonates with the type of homeowners that we want, because the strategy for us is not just like creating a campaign and then getting $5, $10, $20 leads. We would much rather communicate to the algorithm that we want to find people that are higher intent and that are more likely to convert. So we focus on the quality instead of the quantity. That's the first thing and the first learning that is super important. The next thing is the wealth map targeting. So you want to identify zip codes with the highest concentration of wealth in your service area. And obviously this is depending on if you're selling premium or if you're just selling like to the more generic market. Because if that's the case, you would probably focus more on just filtering out the tire kickers that just wouldn't have the money for the price ranges that you have. The next thing is asset value filtering. So targeting only homeowners with property values of $500K or more to assure equity. So it's the same scenario here. Probably like if you're just selling, bathrooms and kitchens in affordable ranges, you could probably also target homeowners that are having home worth more than $400K or $350. It's depending on the service, but that's just something that you have to identify. Then also you can do some income qualification, which we're doing for a lot of our partners, which is filtering for household incomes of $150K to match high ticket project costs. And the results of this wealth map targeting combined is that we filter out the tire kickers before they ever see your ad. So there's zero wasted spend on unqualified leads. Next thing then is super important, especially when running ads, is that you always get in contact with these leads immediately. Because there's a 900% drop in contact probability if you just wait 5 minutes to call the lead. So I'm not a big advocate for having robots to basically call these leads up, because it's a big decision, it's a large investment. You want to get on the phone with someone and you want to feel heard. You want to feel the trust of the company that are going to get your remodel done, because at the end of the day, for homeowners, this is like a huge investment for them, and it's probably one of the biggest investments they're going to make in their life. So obviously they want to go with the right company. Then this is also another part of the funnel where you can make sure that you're saving you or your team's time before they spend hours driving out to an appointment, doing the consultation and all of that stuff. So therefore we have our sales agents doing the qualification over the phone. So we always verify the budget, the timeline, and decision makers before booking an appointment. And the thing is, like, we don't want to obviously give them an exact price over the phone because it doesn't make sense. And from a sales perspective, they need to get to know, like, and trust you before you go into that. So what we do instead is just we tell them our projects are ranging from X to Y, depending on the scope of work. And then we ask them, is that something that is realistic for you to invest? Because if they can't even agree to like the normal price ranges for a remodel, they're probably not well enough educated, or they don't just have the money to get this done. And then we don't want to waste your team's time on that. Obviously, we also make sure that the decision makers are present and that they're looking to get started in the next 30 to 60 days. And if they don't fit these criteria, which you will give us, they will never hit your calendar. And obviously this is also something you can just do with your own team in-house if you have someone calling up the leads. All right. So the results of these 3 pillars in action is exactly what helped our partner generate $300K in the first 60 days of working with us, because his team was just driving out to appointments with homeowners that were actually already qualified on budget, on time frame, and also on the scope of work. So why is it that this system outperforms every other method? The number one reason is aligned incentives. So most aggregators are paid per lead, regardless of the quality. We're paid per qualified appointment, which means we only win when you go out and you give an estimate. The next thing is true exclusivity. So lead sellers sell the same lead to 5 other contractors, creating a price war, where with our appointments, you will only get them, and we won't send them to any other remodelers in your area. Number 3 is focus on closing. So pre-qualification removes the waste. You stop chasing tire kickers and start spending your time closing deals. And another thing we have actually implemented in going into 2026 is also we have built out a whole sales training course for our partners, which means our partners' sales reps will get access to our video course that will go on everything on how they can increase their close rate from what we have seen working with over 178 remodelers. So how can you build this system yourself and build this appointment machine? So the first thing is defining your avatar. So focus on the top 20% zip codes and incomes. Number 2 is record your ads. Film a short walkthrough showing transformation. So you can essentially record before and after videos. You can also record videos of you talking in front of the camera about the unique selling points that you have, the homeowners you have helped, etc., etc. The next thing is build the funnel. So use a quiz to filter for budget, and install an ISA. So that is an inside sales agent. Have a scheduler call the leads within 5 minutes. All right. So one thing that is also super important, obviously, when running ads and doing marketing in general is the numbers. Because what doesn't get tracked doesn't get improved. And you need to be able to identify exactly where the constraint is in the funnel. So what we want to get to is a $200 cost per booked appointment through the ads. We want to make sure the show rate is above 75%, and we want to make sure that the close rate is above 25%. And revenue appointment should be above $5,000. This metric could also more so just be the average order value from the projects that you close from these ads, which again is really different from partner to partner. But let's say you have spent $2,000 on ads. We always want to have our partners' marketing costs under 10%. So if you've spent $2K on ads, you should have closed $20K from that at least. I can say with this partner, He's like doing a lot of cabinets, countertops. So his like project size is more pushing for volume. So with us, his average order value was around $30,000 and still is around that range. So what are like the mistakes that will kill your appointment machine that you need to avoid when starting this thing out? So the first is generic free quote ads. The consequence is you attract price shoppers who just want the cheapest option and not the best value. Skipping pre-qualification. If you skip the pre-qualification and just book everyone in, or just book them in without talking to them first, is you will fill your calendar with tire kickers and spend hours driving to appointments that will never buy. Slow speed to lead. If you wait even 15 minutes, your contact rate drops by 400%, which means your leads go cold instantly. So, if you are ready to have my team build this for you, obviously you can also do it yourself. That is up to you. We normally only work with remodelers doing above $1 million a year at least. Just want to preface it by saying that. Then you can book a free 40-minute strategy session where we can map out a game plan of how we can help you, scale your business. So number one is custom wealth map build. We'll identify the exact zip codes and neighborhoods in your area with the highest return on investment potential. We'll go through your current ads if you are running any, or just talking about currently your strategies for getting more leads. We'll review your past marketing efforts and show you exactly why they failed and how to fix them. And we will also build out a growth projection, so a clear month-by-month roadmap to hitting $1 million, $3 million, $5 million. We even have a partner that we've scaled to $30 million a year. So yeah, we can help you with basically mapping out a game plan for how you can get to the next level in your business. All right, so feel free to click on the link below this video and book your free strategy session. And then if you aren't booking an appointment, I hope you will you build the system yourself and get some value from it. That was it for this video. Take care. Bye bye.